Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight at our Collins City Hall. I have got a couple great guests. I'm really excited about this. We've got an hour of just a lot of information, a lot of fun things to do in our community. So I got with me our Council President, Steve Brown. Thank you very much for being with us.
Absolutely,
President
Mayor.
Brown. It's great to have you with us and to go over some of these events.
Always
that
glad
we've
to be
got.
here with you.
I'm sure. Okay, we're going to move on to the one that really matters.
Oh, I know. This is the one show that I really like, is every time Peter's here.
Yeah, that's
I need
right.
to start bringing animals in like Jack Hanna.
Oh,
Yes.
hey.
You know, we did have Peter Pruitt here is with us here. He's our zoo director. We did have a cougar.
But that won't ever happen again. Our cougar's a tad bit big for that.
Cougar coming in. Well, he
Yeah.
was young and it was a lot of fun. We were able to pet it and it was great.
Yeah.
Now he's a little big though.
Yeah. So when people ask if we pet the animals at the zoo, I have a wordless response.
That's right. I got 10 fingers.
I've got all my fingers. So the answer
don't
is
need to-
no, we don't pet the animals at the zoo. So, yeah.
That's right. But a few years back we had a baby black bear.
Yep.
But we never did get the black bear on the show. But we did get the cougar. It was kind of neat.
Yep.
I had some pictures taken with it, but the pictures, the eyes looked evil eyes on the cougar. I was like,
With their
okay,
little
that was the
reflective
wrong
membrane.
thing. That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great picture. But anyway, we didn't have you come here to talk about the cougar that was here a few years ago.
He's 150 plus pounds right now.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, he's plenty big. We have so many things happening at the zoo. And there's an event, as I looked at, this is paperwork, folks, is all things that are happening at the zoo. You've done an incredible job making sure that we had activities going on there.
Thank you.
But before we get into that, I would like to actually inform all of the people watching what's happening at the zoo, the entrance of the zoo and things like that. What are you doing? We were there Sunday, and I know what you're doing, but not everybody does, and I got questioned an awful lot on Sunday at the band concert. But we've got a great walkway, it's dirt, and all kinds of stuff. So tell us what we're doing.
So we are in the process right now of starting the landscaping, and it's been a fun project to work with. Multiple partners across the board, and first and foremost, working with the Park and Rec Department is fantastic. They're the ones out there right now that's really moving the dirt, getting it ready for the plantings. And they worked on our bathrooms, and the street department has worked with us on the site work, and engineering has worked with us on the whole project, and it's just been a great project in how we've incorporated so many different entities within the city to really turn out something fun.
So what we're doing, though, folks, what we're doing is we're taking and we're building a new entrance.
Yep.
The older entrance was definitely dated. It was not ADA accessible.
It was a little steep.
And then the other one too is it was hard to notice. So people would drive by, even though we had a little marquee, it was still really kind of hard to go, what is over there?
It sat way back.
It sat right back, and we're working on this beautiful Firewise garden. So the first thing you'll see is that it's different from the rest of Lower Ross Park, because it's not going to be grass and our big beautiful trees that are offering a lot of shade. It's going to be a lot of low coverage plants that have reduced fuel load, because if a fire comes through, we don't want our most flammable material right next to our house. We want that furthest away, and this is what that garden does. And as it goes up the slope, hopefully next spring we'll have a 2-story log cabin sitting right there on top. And the entrance work already catches everyone's eye, and it's just a concrete pathway and some dirt. Wait till the garden's in and we've got this 2-story log cabin. People are going to stop and go, what is that?
Yeah.
Oftentimes a zoo is we think of a zoo as entertainment.
Yep.
But it's so much more when it comes to educational. And I think this Firewise garden is a big part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, historically zoos used to be entertainment. Let's come see the gorilla in the concrete box. And we've evolved very quickly over the last 20 to 30 years, and a lot of zoos' emphasis nowadays is on education and conservation. And with the Firewise Garden, this is an opportunity not to just educate the people as they're moving into the zoo. We have this amazing component outside of the zoo that anyone who's using Lower Ross Park or the Aquatic Center can come by and learn how to make a very happy, healthy environment around their house.
What a great tool for people to see, and it's fairly inexpensive when you start comparing trees and other things like that to put in there.
It's going to be, you know, irrigation-wise, it's a Xeriscape, which we're combining not just native plants found in Idaho, but they're going to be desert-type plants that don't require a whole lot of moisture, are fire-resistant, and once they get established, we're not going to have to be irrigating that area like we do every single day in our bright green yards.
Yeah. Well, it's neat. I know there was a plan to build a great big entrance and all of this stuff, and as we put a pencil to it, it just did not pencil out. It was a $1 million project, and it's something that we just couldn't do. And so Peter, you and I think it was you and John went to the drawing board, and you came back with a plan that is affordable.
Yeah, we have to look at what's realistic for the zoo and realistic and feasible for the community, because the entrance isn't the only thing that we need to work on in the zoo. We want to make this a world-class facility. The nice part about being a world-class facility, we don't have to spend world-class money.
Well, and I like the way you've started to look at things differently too, because now we have bathrooms incorporated into the zoo. We don't have to have the blue bathrooms come in. Now we've got them. And which was just a great, innovative thinking.
Right, and we're working on another clever way of incorporating our bathrooms in the education building up top for our guests. So it's one thing to have bathrooms on the lower level. It's a 25-acre zoo, and if we don't have bathrooms up top, that could be potentially dangerous.
That's right.
And so again, looking at clever, cost-effective ways of incorporating what we already have at the zoo into our guest amenities. And there's 5 units up in the Ed building, and we might have a plan and have that in place by next spring too. So now we'll have bathrooms on the bottom and the top. And the next bit is increasing our shade, our rest areas, and we really need to get some drinks, especially drinks on top when you're walking around. We don't have a whole lot of shade up there, and of course we want our guests to be comfortable and, most importantly, happy, because no water on a nice 95-degree day on the upper level is pretty tough.
Doesn't make you happy.
No, not one bit.
Anyway, you're doing a great job up there, and just a new way of thinking is really exciting to me, because we actually have an opportunity to make things happen. I mean, when you would speak to anybody that went to the zoo before, bathrooms were a big deal. We've got them now. We looked at the entrance, and we needed a new entrance. There's no question. We've got a plan to make that happen, and so it's neat to see the new ideas coming through.
And hopefully we get our master plan done this fall, so everyone will have a really nice visual and vision of what we plan on doing with the zoo.
It was only a couple of years ago that the city council was looking at the zoo and saying, is it time to say goodbye? Because it was kind of stagnant. It was the same old thing all the time, and all it did was cost money. Well, we have a new director of Parks and Recreation. We have Peter, who's here. Different vision, different thoughts, and we're able now to move forward with a whole different feel, different focus, and with these changes, not a huge amount of money. I mean, we're still spending the same amount of money, but
Making
we're having
improvements. Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's tough. Every year when we go, you guys know, you have a harder job than I do. I just have one little zoo to work on my budget, and the goal isn't to always come in and ask for more and more money. The goal is to, if we can, keep it flatline and find ways within our operating budget to make improvements. Then that not only does it benefit the zoo, it benefits the city and then the community. So it's really nice, and it's fun when I walk around the zoo because you always have to ask people how they're doing, what their favorite animal is, and then you start talking with them, and without spending a whole lot of money on these proper surveys, I get a really clear idea on what people like about the zoo and what people want to see in the near future, and it's really fun to hear a lot of those positive comments and encouragement. So I know we're going in the right direction.
Well, what's neat is you go to the zoo and the zoo director might be speaking to you. How many zoo directors get out there and talk to the people looking at the actual animals and things?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen all the time. So kudos to you for taking that initiative. We've talked about that a little bit. You just need to know that it's neat to see a nice refreshing to see how that zoo's going. And the idea is, folks, if you ever run into Peter and you have an opportunity, have him walk around the zoo, and you'll get to be a huge fan of the zoo because he's got so many ideas and he's so excited and passionate about it.
Not just a huge fan of the zoo, but a huge fan of Peter. His enthusiasm, his insight, and his vision for where we're headed is refreshing.
It absolutely is. Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. You're doing good work.
It's neat. It's neat to see that.
All right.
Now you have so many activities that I don't know if we're going to get all of them to all of them, but let's start.
Yeah, we'll hit some
highlights. What are the highlights that you've got?
So, what I want to remind everyone, with the construction that's going on, there's a lot of changes going within our team, and our education department is fantastic. And I really get just as excited as with what Corey is doing with all our education programs as with what we're doing construction-wise and facility-wise. And this year was the first year that we really sat down and Corey was able to look at previous programs and what we can do to change and improve them. And some of our programs weren't, getting kind of old, and then we want to try some new stuff. And so we've kind of scrapped our Barry birthday this year, and we're doing at the end of this month an enrichment day. And enrichment is basically, we want to give items and objects, food, scents that elicit a natural behavior with our animals. And we want to be able to say this is enrichment for the cougars, and everyone at the zoo or every guest at the zoo that knows what enrichment is. And so this is what Enrichment Day is. We're going to educate people on not only how we enrich our animals at the zoo, but potentially how you can enrich your own pets. And there's going to be plenty of fun opportunities for guests to make their own enrichment items that they can take home or that we'll eventually give to the animals. So it's going to be a really fun educational day. And not only are you helping the animals out, you're helping us as the zoo team out too, because we need these enrichment items and we need donations for scents, for objects, all kinds of stuff. So this is really going to get the community involved in that. This year we are not doing our Midsummer's Night because we want to reassess that and really spend a lot of time in making that once again a top-notch event. But we are still doing our sleepover July 9th through the 10th, and that's 5:45 the 10th or the 9th until 9 a.m. on the 10th, and that's really fun. So
do you need to register for that early?
Oh yes, please. The hard part that we have with all our education classes and programs is pre-registration, because we can't technically wait until the night before or the day before to determine whether or not we can have that sleepover or that program, because we put a lot of time and effort into developing these, and we need those pre-registrations so we can keep these programs going and hold these sleepovers and have these classes.
Well, we were talking about that before the show started, the sleepover at the zoo.
Yep.
And the suggestion was that the mayor and council sleep with the grizzly bear. I don't know if that's a good
Just the
idea.
mayor.
Just the mayor.
Just the
I
mayor.
thought it was both.
Yeah.
All right, I
We're
guess
sleeping
I'm
on the
up.
outside watching.
Well, I guess
I wonder if that's right.
It all depends on how much we feed the bears before
That's
you guys
right.
come in,
That's
right?
right. Absolutely.
So, a lot or a little,
But
we
it's,
don't know.
I think I'll have to rethink the pre-registration on that.
That one, right.
On that one.
Right.
But
So if someone wanted to, for the midsummer slumber,
Yep.
the sleepover, how would they
You can
register
do
for that?
You can do that all online. It's when you go to the Park and Rec page and you start registering, just like if you're registering for one of the outdoor rec programs.
Okay.
Or one of the CRC programs. When you get there, there'll be a little tab that says the zoo. You can click on that and boom, and then you've got all your different options, and we've got it. The other one you can do is call the zoo directly. If you're a little uncomfortable with the website or you've never used it before, just call the zoo and we'll get you down and ready to roll.
Is there an age limit?
I'm not sure on the sleepover.
I'm going to guess that there
there's gonna
probably
be-
is an age
yeah.
limit, but call and find out.
Yeah, call and find out. See how
Okay.
prepared I came
website, you
tonight.
can get to the zoo through Pocatello.us.
Pocatello.us
or zooidaho.org.
Yeah. Oh, Zoo Idaho. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
We changed the name of the zoo.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
no longer Pocatello Zoo.
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
Well, one is, for some reason, I have to think about marketing now. You asked me 20 years ago what a marketing plan was. I would have shrugged my shoulders and
right.
said, "Give me the shovel, and I'm going to go
Go
to
take
work."
care of that,
But
yeah.
when we look at how we really get people engaged within our zoo, especially people that are not necessarily from Pocatello, we needed to kind of a name change. And Zoo Idaho really fit our zoo because we're an indigenous zoo. Only native species found in Idaho and the Intermountain West region. Mm-hmm. And one of the actually few names that describes our zoo perfectly. And quite frankly, it pops, doesn't it?
I love it. Zoo Idaho.
Yeah.
And I believe it's helped.
I do too. It's we do get comments through our email, and a lot of people are really excited about the name, and we're getting comments from people outside of Pocatello. So you know it's working, and we just had a fantastic meeting Friday with Visit Pocatello and the Idaho Museum of Natural History. The museum and us are a perfect combination. There's some extensive synergy right there. We've got the past within the Natural History Museum and the present with Zoo Idaho, and so now we're going to start working on a marketing campaign for our two organizations, and that's going to be super fun. So.
Absolutely. That's really, really good. Attendance to date is actually up.
Yes, we were up in April. We broke even in May, and we were up in June. So it's going well. It's again, we've got, and I'm very happy with it because we've got some significant changes down in the front, and we really had people confused this spring, bringing them through the Ed building, and then all of a sudden we threw them back down to the entrance, and even with the construction going on there, sometimes it's hard to recognize that that's the entrance. Yeah. And I can't put a marquee up yet because that's going to be in the way of the project, and I don't want to spend money on the marquee and then have to fix it next year. Yeah. So I'm very happy with what we've got going on so far, and if we follow trends from last year, July and August we'll keep building up on our attendance, and I'm excited.
So good. Very neat. And I think the name change helped.
Yeah.
I think that it did, and the all the work that's going on around it, I think that helped as well. So that's great.
And I have no problem with the dirt in the zoo because people see movement.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that we've kind of missed for a while is movement, and it's just little things. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing in-house. We're a small staff. We can't get it all done in a heartbeat, but it's moving, and every time you come back.
You've got a lot of projects.
Yeah.
Going on at the same time.
Well, that's what's
multitasking.
It is.
Yeah.
There are a lot of projects going on. Along with all of these educational activities and these other activities.
Yeah, and I do want to mention coming in the middle of August is our Animal Olympics class. And this was going to be fun. We're tying it right in with the Summer Olympics, and it really is neat talking about a lot of the adaptations that animals have that help them not only survive in their habitat but thrive. And it'll be really fun. And there's going to be lots of games, and who knows, maybe the kids will get to race Aggie, our desert tortoise. So.
He can move.
He can move when he wants to. Yeah.
He can move.
Yeah.
I've seen him move. It's, you know what, there are a lot of things. I'm going through pages after pages of of activities. You got Zoo Boo coming up in October. You got Grandparents' Day in September.
Yep.
You've got
Ice Cream Zufari. We're working with the Greenway Foundation to combine Riverfest with Ice Cream Zufari. Again, a fresh way of looking at things. There's always something going on the weekends. And if we've got multiple organizations that are like-minded, like the Greenway and the zoo, instead of trying to compete with each other, let's see if we could combine. I mean, still two separate events, but we're working together as opposed to saying, oh, you shouldn't have put that on that day, or we had this pegged for this day. Let's work together. And again, it doesn't take one organization or one person to make a strong community. It takes the whole community to make a strong community. So, working together.
Absolutely. It's exciting to see the synergy that's happening right now. With the zoo, with the Parks and Rec, with the Greenway Foundation.
Yep.
It just seems like with everybody else out there, the street department.
Yeah.
That synergy is great. I've got a whole list of day classes here.
Yes. So these are classes, if you don't want to send your kiddos off for a whole week, we've got day classes, usually half a day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. And we've got one coming up tomorrow. It's our World Wildlife Rangers. And you get to learn what it's like to be a ranger, not just here in the United States. Our Idaho Fish and Game technically are rangers. They work with our habitats and our animals to manage them as best as possible, but there's also rangers throughout the world, and they all have slightly different jobs or responsibilities, and so now you get a chance to see what it takes to be a ranger, not just in the United States. And so that's going to be fun. And then next week we've got fantastic foragers. What's a forager?
Yeah.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I'm glad you're sitting next to me.
Well, a forager, I'd go out and look for food.
For food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Every animal has to look for food.
What is a food gatherer?
Right.
A forager.
A forager, yeah.
That's right.
And you think about it, so we've got a bison, they're foraging, but there's always, they're moving along, eating at the same time. And so, as an herbivore, that food, the grass, and the brush and all that's there. And so they're just moving along, eating constantly. But then what does a cougar or a wolf have to do? They have to find that. And so there's cost expenditures on what you forage and how you forage. And so you'll get to learn to do that. Then we've got, in that same week, is how to train your dragon. Now we're not actually going to train dragons.
Oh.
But, it would be kind of fun.
My boys would have loved it.
Training a dragon would be awesome.
And I've worked in zoos where they actually did train their Komodo dragon, so very close. So this class is, you're going to learn what we as keepers do to train our animals. The simple term is, or the layman's term is, clicker training. I think everyone, when you say clicker training, they kind of know what that is. Mm-hmm. But we have to be fancy in the zoo world and change that, and what we use is operant conditioning based on positive reinforcement. So you just have to lengthen it out to sound cool.
That's right.
And this class is going to be all about what we do to train our animals. And the great part is, you get to train your buddies or your friends or your classmates, and it's positive reinforcement. So if you do something right, you get a reward, and it's usually going to be a piece of candy, you know, chocolate or something like that, because again,
so maybe I should go
absolutely
and learn so that I could
actually, you know,
work it on my kids.
Yeah, you could be the trainee.
Hey,
so every time you do something correct, you're going to get that.
You're going to get something.
You're going to get that piece of chocolate. We can make you the official trainee for that.
Okay,
there you go. You've got a zookeeper for a day coming up.
Yep, and again,
that's a great idea.
Zookeeping isn't all about well. You don't necessarily play with the animals every day. It takes hard work, and a lot of people really don't know what we as zookeepers do, and so bringing up a generation of kids who appreciate what zoos are all about, especially on the conservation and the education end, you know, it encourages them to come back as an adult. So it encourages them to get their children involved within the zoo. And again, I'm going to go back to the community, especially with a small zoo. The more you're involved with your zoo, the more you're involved within the community.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
You also have Shark University coming up.
Shark Week, right? So
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Shark
U. Right. Well, and the sad part is I keep forgetting the name of the prehistoric shark that our virtualization lab. It's the one with the round jaw with the teeth. You know, for 100-some-odd years, they couldn't figure out how that worked. That jaw, that the teeth sat in the jaw, and lo and behold, it came right here at our own Idaho State University in the museum and the virtualization lab. So again, we've got cool stuff going all over the place.
That's right. Dinosaur School.
Yeah, well, again, where's the synergy with the Natural History Museum?
That's incredible. Zoo camp for the full day, and also zoo camp for half a day.
Yeah, pick your choice.
So who gets to choose? The parents? You're taking the full day, or the zookeeper? You're taking them back to half a day.
Well, I think the parents get to choose. You know, Again, we've got lots of places that we can put the kids that you know. We've got lots of doors that lock.
You got Zoo for Tots. You got a lot of locking doors. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You got Zoo for Tots. You got Wild Winter Weekends.
Yep.
Winter Wonder Snooze.
Yeah. So again, when the zoo closes, or you know, when the open season starts to ratchet it down, you know, at the end of August and September, October, we're just open on weekends. That doesn't mean our education department hibernates and goes to sleep. We still have classes and courses throughout the winter and early spring, just not as many because Corey has to really, that's her time to expand this list and really develop the new programs. And it's really fun to see her offering new stuff every year.
You know what? It's amazing. Time's up. If I can't believe a half hour is that quick. I say that every month, but it's amazing the things you're doing. So, folks, if you're interested, we just named a portion of the activities that are happening. Go to the website, call the zoo. Anything you need to get involved in this zoo. It's an exciting place to be right now, and it's fun to talk to. The employees are just bubbling with excitement as well. So
it's really fun to walk up to someone and say, "Please pardon our progress."
Yeah,
you know, to be able to say that, and I hope I get to say that for quite a while. And that means that we're moving forward every single day.
Well, pass our thanks to the rest of the staff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We wouldn't be here without them. Yep. Not one bit.
Yep, there's no question.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for taking some time with us here in this first half hour, and please stay tuned afterwards because we get to talk about another department that's just exploding at the seams as well in that second half hour. So.